After failing to win over the female villain, our guy faked his death and ran. He spent 7 whole years by Liu Ruyan's side, but she never cared for him. So he finally gave up and escaped to another world entirely. But when his next target appeared, plot twist, it was literally her again. No shot. As he panics and asks how she found him, she wraps her arms around his stiff neck. Smiling sweetly, she whispers that since he called her a lunatic, she naturally tracked him down. Right before his past life ended, he tried calling her one last time. The phone just rang and rang with absolutely no response. Sweating on the couch, he felt his soul being ripped away as she ignored him. The pain was unreal because today was the absolute final deadline for his mission. If she did not fall in love with him, tonight was his end. Meanwhile, the TV screen glowed brightly, showing her in a gorgeous red gown. So elegant, so bright. A world apart from him, she stood next to a top male celebrity. Smiling warmly, she told the crowd that she only made it this far. All thanks to Mr. He's support, calling him her absolute light with real emotion. The fans went wild while that celebrity, He Xuanran, blushed. He blushed shyly. How ironic. Our guy has the exact same last name. Unbelievable. Yet he was the one who spent 7 years working crazy hours to pay her tuition. He even drank himself into stomach bleeding for her. Yet in the end, he did not even deserve a mention. Honestly, my heart broke for him. The failure screen glowed bright red, and he finally gave up completely. If they were never meant to be, fine. But then, a system notification, offering him a single chance to revive and target someone else. He had no idea why he got this chance, but he immediately agreed. Choosing to avoid that villain because his last life was exhausting? The system let him choose his next target from a massive list. And his eyes immediately locked onto a young girl named Liu Ruyan. She was so young, yet her difficulty level was marked as literal death. Maximum difficulty. But he was curious. He checked her backstory and saw she grew up in a horribly toxic environment, slowly getting warped until she became a totally unhinged villain. She locks up the lead and ends herself. Brutal. After a long silence, he made his choice and picked her anyway. Not because he wanted a thrill, and definitely not because she was beautiful. He honestly just wanted to save her because she had such beautiful eyes. Clear and pure, like untouched water on a snowy mountain. They looked so innocent, and he did not want them stained with blood. He wondered if growing up loved would stop her from going dark. If she could avoid becoming the lunatic she was destined to be. That was his entire motivation for trying to save her back then. But he learned the hard way that a psycho is always a psycho. This twist is wild. Monsters never change. When our MC first met Liu Ruyan, the kid was tiny. His eyes were slightly red as he carefully tugged his sleeve, calling him Big Brother. He said he had no family left and begged the MC to stay forever. Just that one sentence, our MC completely went soft. He literally stayed by his side for a lifetime, right until death. For 7 years, our MC shielded Liu Ruyan from the darkest parts of the plot. He ended up completely covered in scars, but honestly, he did not care. All because, step by step, Liu Ruyan's affection rating for him was steadily rising. The kid was actually turning into a totally different person, gentle and polite. He was sweet, obedient, and would hold the MC's hand like a spoiled child when hurt. He would pout, "Big brother, stop standing up for me." "I do not want you getting hurt," which absolutely melted our MC's heart. It made all his suffering worth it. But then, the male lead finally showed up. Everything changed because that man, He Xuanran, was just way too dazzling. The guy entered like a literal sun, stealing the spotlight from everyone. And yes, that included Liu Ruyan, who started acting just like the original novel. He kept a constant eye on He Xuanran, trying to dig up his news. Our MC's heart literally stopped because in the original plot, Liu Ruyan completely loses his mind and turns evil because the male lead does not love him. He locks the male lead up in a basement, spiraling into a toxic, obsessive love. When the male lead escapes, he ends his own life. No shot our MC lets that happen. Determined to save him, our MC begged him over and over to avoid that tragic end. He warned him to stay far away from He Xuanran, but Liu Ruyan refused to listen. Worse, his affection points kept dropping daily until the target deadline finally arrived. Straight to zero. 7 years of grind, completely gone. He still lost to the plot. Talk about a tragic joke, right? But hey, that is all in the past, and he just got transferred into a new world. Now he has a brand new target to charm, and honestly, the previous world is history. Whatever happens to Liu Ruyan now, he literally does not care anymore. He lived through it. Suddenly, the system starts chiming with a notification. It warns him that his next target is about to arrive, so get ready. Our MC slaps his own face, forcing himself to snap out of it and focus. Right then, a wealthy-looking girl strolls into view with a super elegant vibe.
She smiles and says, "Big brother, I have been waiting for you forever."
This is his new target, Bai Ningbing, and our MC flashes a polite smile back. But then, his smile completely freezes. The girl's eyes are a deep, icy blue, like freezing mountain spring water. This is insane! They look exactly like Liu Ruyan's eyes, chilling him to the bone. Are those actually Liu Ruyan's eyes? He gets absolute goosebumps. He takes a much closer look, but besides those icy eyes, this girl looks absolutely nothing like Liu Ruyan. Confused, Bai Ningbing tilts her head. She asks, "Big brother, what are you staring at?" Thank goodness her voice sounds totally different too, letting our guy finally breathe a sigh of relief. He figures Liu Ruyan just left such deep trauma that he has literally seen things. Shaking it off, our MC gets back into character and starts reading his system lines. "Are you Bai Ningbing? I have adopted you, so from now on, you are my family."
Hearing this, Bai Ningbing flashes a sweet smile and says, "Thank you, big brother."
But deep down, he feels a sudden wave of unease because her character setting was supposed to be a rebellious, hot-tempered brat. She was supposed to be a total delinquent, so why is she suddenly acting like an absolute angel and calling him big brother? Still, he forces himself to ignore the gut feeling because the system is never wrong. It must be his imagination, especially when Bai Ningbing tells him next. She still has to pack her bags and needs to head back to her room at the orphanage. He agrees and sits in the next room waiting for her. The orphanage director smiles and nudges him, saying Mr. He really knows how to handle kids. Honestly, Bai Ningbing was always the hardest one to control, but you show up and she is instantly, completely obedient. He politely replies that the director is being too kind, as Bai Ningbing seems pretty sweet. But hearing this, the director's eyes go wide with total shock, asking if Bai Ningbing is sweet? Are you kidding me? At her age, she is already out here smoking, drinking, and picking fights? She is literally covered in tattoos and as stubborn as a rock. If you had not kindly adopted her, she would still be giving me a massive headache. As he keeps listening, his heart starts sinking fast. Something is seriously wrong here, because none of these traits actually match the girl he just met. Plus, the director said she's supposed to be covered in tattoos. Yet the Bai Ningbing he just saw had completely flawless skin, with no marks at all. Even if she somehow removed them recently, there is no way her skin could look that clean. Alright, so this plot twist means the girl he met is not the real Bai Ningbing. This is actually wild, so who is she? Terrified to his core, he springs to his feet. He forces a quick apologetic smile at the director before rushing out of the room and slamming the next door wide open. The lights are off, leaving the room pitch black. A heavy stench of blood hits his face, and he sees a strange young girl lying on the floor. Blood is pouring from her forehead in a brutal, gruesome sight. Her mouth is tightly gagged, but she still struggles and makes angry, muffled whimpers. Her eyes are bloodshot as she struggles wildly. The moment he sees her, a cold sweat breaks out all over him. Violent behavior. A violent temper, arms covered in tattoos. Yes, this is the actual Bai Ningbing. But right in that moment, the slow and steady click of high heels echoes from the shadows. The fake Bai Ningbing steps out, tilting her head to stare right at him. She peels off a bloody human skin mask as she walks toward him, revealing a familiar, sharp-eyed face with red lips. Bro, she is built different and looks insanely dangerous. It is actually Liu Ruyan. He takes 2 steps back in complete disbelief because she is literally a fictional character. How did she break the fourth wall to get here? She just stares at his panicked face. She chuckles softly and says, "Long time no see, big brother," before casually stepping right down on top of Bai.
Ningbing's bleeding head, her eyes filled with pure, mocking contempt for both of them.
Did you seriously leave me to go and carry a complete piece of trash? The silence is deafening. He just stands there completely frozen, but his mind is racing with absolute panic. How on earth did Liu Ruyan get here, and how does she even know about his secret system mission? Staring at his pale face, Liu Ruyan chuckles and asks if he is scared. She calmly admits she originally planned to take out this trash as quickly as possible,
to avoid blowing her cover, but she did not expect him to walk in on her.
So getting rid of him actually means straight up murdering the real Bai Ningbing. While her MC is completely stunned,
Liu Ruyan presses her pale fingers against his lips, caressing him with a creepy kind of affection. She whispers that this is actually for the best.
Because honestly, disguising her voice to mimic someone else is just too much of a hassle anyway.
She leans her red lips right up to his ear, dropping that innocent act she was putting on.
Her voice shifts right back to that familiar, dangerously seductive tone as she asks what comes next.
She literally says that a useless trash like Bai Ningbing has no reason to exist anymore, but because she is so close, our MC, he freezes up, completely unable to process her terrifying words. He struggles to choke out a warning, telling her to stop, but before he can even finish, a blood-curdling shriek of absolute agony pierces the air. That immediately snaps our guy right back to reality. He looks down in horror, only to see Liu Ruyan standing there completely unbothered, casually grinding her heel right into Bai Ningbing's face without even trying. Bai Ningbing's face is already completely crushed, twisted in pure torment. Blood is spraying everywhere. This girl is straight up trying to end his life. Our MC is absolutely losing it, so in a total panic, he grabs Liu Ruyan's arm to stop her. He demands to know what on earth she is doing. He Qiang just blinks at him. She looks innocent, then calmly says she is killing him. Her tone is so casual, it is like she is just talking about what she wants for lunch. Our MC is completely speechless. It takes him a solid second to even process this madness. He asks her if she has lost her mind. What kind of insane grudge does she even have against him? That she would actually go as far as to kill him? Hearing this, Liu Ruyan's eyes turn pitch black. There is a dark, psychotic madness in her gaze as she tells him that since he left her to romance this guy, then obviously he deserves to die. Our MC can only stare at her in absolute disbelief. He cannot believe she is doing all of this over something so trivial. This girl is literally a certified psycho. The room drops to a dead silence, broken only by Bai Ningbing's muffled, angry groans. He is desperately squirming and trying to fight back, especially since he has always had a short temper. But getting his face stomped on and being called useless trash over and over is pushing him past his limit. He is absolutely livid, but the noise only makes Liu Ruyan furrow her eyebrows in annoyance. Throwing away any last bit of elegance, she impatiently grinds her heel right into Bai Ningbing's fingers. Her killing intent is off the charts as she coldly warns him to shut up if he wants an open casket funeral. Shaking from the agonizing pain, Bai Ningbing curls his body up into a tight ball. He does not dare to make another sound. Even our MC cannot help but shudder at this. In his past life, Liu Ruyan had always been so sweet, obedient, and gentle around him. Even when they drifted apart later on, she was only ever polite and a bit distant. She had never shown a single trace of this unhinged, psychopathic side before. This does not feel like the girl he raised at all. She is acting exactly like the dark, obsessive villain from the original game settings. A complete psycho, entirely unrecognizable to him now. Seeing him frozen in shock, Liu Ruyan easily grabs his hand and calls him her dear brother. She asks him why there is a cheap replacement now when he promised she was his one and only. Our MC feels a massive lump in his throat. He cannot squeeze out a single word. She just rubs her face against his cold hand. Honestly, if you ignore the blood splattered across her cheeks, she looks like an innocent, clingy kitten, but the words coming out of her mouth are straight up terrifying.
She admits that just thinking about him romancing this useless replacement and whispering sweet talk to him drives her completely insane.
So she cannot wait to slaughter him right now and chop him into pieces. That way he would never have the guts to even look at our MC in his next life. The more she speaks, the more her gorgeous face twists into a look of absolute terrifying madness. Shaking with absolute terror, he yanks his hand away from her grasp. He grits his teeth and calls her out. Liu Ruyan, you are literally a hopeless psycho. Asking how she even tracked him down, he scrambles to unlock the door. He needs to get out, away from this suffocating room, away from her. But then, weakness hits. His legs give out instantly, leaving him stumbling and nearly crashing to the floor. Before he can fall, her pale arms wrap tightly around his neck. Pulling him close, Liu Ruyan grabs his completely limp hand with an eerie grip. She kisses his fingers and mockingly asks if he just called her a mad dog. "Well, baby, of course I followed your scent," she whispers, smelling like sweet perfume. Strength drains faster and faster. His mind goes hazy. Bro, she actually put a sedative in the air? It had been lingering in the room since the moment he walked in. But the metallic smell of blood and his sheer panic made him overlook it. Barely staying conscious, he glares at her with pure rage. He demands to know if she drugged him, but Liu Ruyan is totally calm now. She gently covers his eyes with her hand, acting completely rational again. She whispers that it is just a harmless sedative, so he should sleep. She promises a surprise when he wakes up, right before his vision goes black. The last thing he sees is her chilling smile as she whispers, "Sweet dreams." He really is dreaming. Back to an afternoon in his past life. A young, innocent Liu Ruyan stands under the blooming purple wisteria. She asks why he is planting so many of them while he waters. He says because they are cheap, making her laugh and ask his favorite flower. She promises to fill their entire yard with them once she makes money. He laughs, asking if she still plans to live with him when she's older. The young girl freezes for a moment before looking down shyly. She softly reminds him of his promise on the day he adopted her. "You said you would stay by my side forever," she whispers under the sun. Her eyes shine with pure devotion as she begs to stay together forever. His heart skips a beat as a gentle breeze blows through the yard. Purple petals fall onto his hair, and she stands on her tiptoes. She gently brushes them away, looking up at him with deep affection. "If you love wisteria," she says, "then I will love them too." They are beautiful, she smiles. His heart beats wildly. Honestly, guys, this is low-key heartbreaking. 7 years ago, he truly loved her. It was not just a system quest. He actually begged his system. He wanted to stay in this world even after completing his mission. He wanted to grow old with Liu Ruyan, but before the system could agree. Then He Xuanran appears. Pure sunshine. He's like a rare, precious rose, completely capturing Liu Ruyan's attention. She actually spends her very first paycheck buying him 99 bouquets of roses. Honestly, respect. She smiles warmly, telling him that roses look absolutely perfect on him. Fast forward a bit, she becomes a powerhouse CEO of a newly public company, while he blows up as a massive superstar. News of her building him a giant rose garden sweeps the nation. But those sweet promises of staying together forever and planting wisteria flowers? They all faded away, leaving our poor main character completely alone. Waking up gasping from his nightmare, he still hasn't fully recovered. Memories of his painful past life flash before his eyes, making it hard to breathe. Just then, a cold hand suddenly brushes against his cheek. It is Liu Ruyan sitting by the bedside, gently wiping away his tears. She asks why his eyes are red, and he realizes he's actually crying. He instantly snaps out of it, realizing crying is the least of his worries. The real question is, where on earth is he right now? He finally notices he is lying in a massive bed surrounded by insanely luxurious decor. The extravagant chandelier casts a harsh, freezing glow that feels completely unfamiliar. Having no clue where Liu Ruyan dragged him, he slowly looks up to face her. She still has that gentle smile, looking just as stunning as she did back then. But her eyes are pitch black now, with absolutely zero sincerity left. Their old love is dead. Liu Ruyan gets up to fetch him a glass of warm milk. She hands it over, sweetly asking if he had a nightmare and if this would help. But our guy refuses, knowing if she drugged the incense, she definitely drugged this too. He forces himself to calm down and glares at her with deep suspicion. He demands to know what she is actually planning, pronouncing every single word clearly. He tells her straight up that he did absolutely nothing wrong to her in his past life. So why the hell is she ruining his life across 2 separate timelines? Liu Ruyan's sweet smile freezes for a second before she finally speaks. She asks if he would believe her if she just wanted to stay together forever. Honestly, if her favorability rating wasn't literal 0 in his last life, he might believe her. He scoffs at her grand claim of wanting to be together forever, reminding her that she literally told the media she succeeded thanks to He Xuanran. So why does she suddenly need him now? Hearing this, Liu Ruyan bursts out laughing. She tilts her head with a mock-innocent look, repeating He Xuanran's name, telling him not to worry about that guy, since he is already a dead man. Before our main character can even process this crazy twist, she stands up. Smiling warmly, she reminds him that she promised to show him a little surprise. And since he seems to be in a bad mood, he might as well bring it out early. With that, the heavy doors swing open and a bunch of guards drag in a limp body. The man's face is completely pale. He stopped breathing long ago, but his eyes are still wide with sheer terror, as if he witnessed something absolutely horrifying right before he died. In an instant, cold sweat breaks out all over our main character. His blood runs absolutely cold, leaving his hands and feet completely frozen. Because the dead man on the floor is actually He Xuanran, making his heart race in shock. Now, our MC definitely had his personal reasons for not liking the guy, but He Xuanran had done absolutely nothing wrong, and our guy never hated him. Yet here he is, reduced to a lifeless corpse being dragged across the floor. This is actually wild. The once powerful, shining male lead of the story just got folded by the woman who supposedly loved him, like a rushed trash ending. It feels completely unreal, but right at that moment, Liu Ruyan whispers in his ear that he seems to have misunderstood something. She says when she gave her thanks to the media, it was always Mr. He, and that Mr. He was always He Qiang, not He Xuanran. Her voice is sweet and beautiful, but our boy cannot process it right now. To him, this is the voice of a demon. She actually killed her own beloved male lead. At this point, what is stopping her? No wonder in his past life her affection level for him dropped to 0 so fast. The girl is a completely emotionless psycho, born to be evil. Tracking him down this time is probably just because she does not want to lose a fun toy, and he breaks out in a cold sweat. No wonder her difficulty rating was S rank. This girl is literally built different. A woman like this is impossible to tame. Liu Ruyan tilts her head. She asks why he does not look surprised, her voice sounding a bit disappointed. She thought he hated He Xuanran and would be happy to see him dead. Rage boils inside him as he grits his teeth, calling her completely insane. He asks what kind of freak enjoys seeing corpses, but before he can finish, Liu Ruyan cuts him off, murmuring that the surprise must not be enough. She apologizes for letting him down, then orders the butler to bring the other gifts. A butler-like man bows politely and signals the bodyguards waiting right outside the door. A second later, a group of guards drags in a crowd of people. Everyone is tied up tightly with ropes, their mouths completely gagged. Only their terrified eyes are visible, and among them is a badly injured Bai Ningbing. Dread floods his chest as he turns toward Liu Ruyan with trembling hands. He demands to know what this means, but she says nothing. She simply gets out of bed lazily and walks toward the captive crowd. She slowly raises her hand, and he notices a gun gripped in her pale palm. The hostages kneeling on the floor clearly spot the weapon as well. Their muffled whimpers grow louder, and honestly, the room feels like a horror movie right now. The suffocating pressure in the air is so heavy he cannot even breathe. She casually polishes the gun, then suddenly turns to him with a sweet smile. She tells him to choose, making his eyes widen in pure shock. Her smile grows increasingly twisted as she speaks in a gentle, watery voice. Just say the word and she will kill whichever one he dislikes. Or if he hates them all, she will just execute every last one. He has a terrible feeling that if he actually names someone,
she will pull the trigger without hesitation, so he must stop her now.
Forcing himself to calm down, he tries to keep his voice completely steady. He begs her to be reasonable, but she just stares back blankly. Meeting her cold gaze, he asks how she can harm completely innocent people. He asks if she forgot everything he taught her about respecting life. Hearing the mention of their past, her expression softens slightly. Yet the gun remains raised as the smile vanishes from her face. She softly points out that none of them are innocent at all. They are all old friends, and the moment she says this, she stomps down hard on Bai Ningbing's face in a brutal, sudden move. Bai Ningbing gets kicked straight to the ground, completely off guard. Meanwhile, the gag rolls out of her mouth and she starts screaming like a maniac. She screeches that it hurts like hell, calling Liu Ruyan a trashy orphan. How dare she treat her like this, making the bodyguards turn pale? They desperately check Liu Ruyan's reaction, but she doesn't even blink. She completely ignores Bai Ningbing, turning to flash our boy He Qiang a smirk.
She asks if he still doesn't recognize her, while he just blinks.
Instant dread and pure hatred wash over him, making his head spin. He finally recognizes her. In his past life, just to protect Liu Ruyan, our boy silently took the fall for all the original novel's dark plots. And those weren't just simple plot points you can easily gloss over. They were a brutal, years-long nightmare of absolute torture for him. Looking closely, every single person kneeling here is a familiar face. The toxic high school bullies, the low-life thugs who used to rob him, and the dirtbags who jumped him in dark alleys. But Bai Ningbing? She was his ultimate nightmare, a loud, red-haired menace, who led a whole gang of violent, delinquent girls back then. When he rejected her, she threw a massive tantrum and robbed his house. Every cent of that money was his hard-earned savings for college tuition. Furious, he immediately confronted Bai Ningbing to demand the money back. But that only set her off, so she hung a massive, toxic banner right in the school auditorium, calling He Qiang a scumbag who dumped her. She even claimed he begged her for tips, completely destroying his reputation. The rumor spread everywhere instantly, and whenever he showed his face, people would point and whisper about the terrible, irresponsible guy. Like, who sleeps with a girl and then begs her for money? He gave up explaining. Instead, he quietly gathered evidence alone and threw her in prison. But right before stepping into the cop car, she flipped him off with a smirk. She warned him that once she got out, she would torture him. Talk about absolute trauma. How could he forget her face? He panics, but actually, it makes total sense. See, in this new world, Liu Ruyan was impersonating her the whole time. He never got a clear look at the real Bai Ningbing back then. And when she finally showed up, she was covered in blood. Her face was completely unrecognizable, which is why he missed the connection. His supposed romance target is literally his worst bully from his past life. But it gets worse. Cold sweat drips down. The system he trusted. He just followed its orders, never questioning why she was the target. He just shrugged it off. He figured it was just a coincidence, since the system wouldn't betray him. It was supposed to help him find happiness with a new partner. So why is it forcing him to romance his literal tormentor? He frantically calls out to the system, but gets nothing but silence. Silence. That is when He Qiang finally realized. Ever since Liu Ruyan showed up, his cheat system had gone completely silent. He can't even sense its existence anymore, leaving him wondering who this girl truly is. Why is the system so ruthless, leaving him betrayed by everyone? He can barely breathe, his face turning pale. On the other side, Bai Ningbing is still screaming and cursing her entire family tree to the ground. Yet Liu Ruyan remains completely calm, simply turning back to smile gently at her brother. But seeing He Qiang's pale face, her smile instantly vanishes. She looks panicked, rushing over to throw herself into his arms. Gently patting his back like they are kids, she whispers for her brother not to fear. She promises everything is over, and she will protect him forever. Honestly, even though He Qiang dislikes Liu Ruyan and knows her words are probably fake, this hits different. It still makes him feel a bit better after walking in the dark alone.
deep down, he just really craved some comfort, even if it was all a lie.
Slowly, his ragged breathing starts to steady. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing has been screaming his head off, but absolutely nobody is paying attention. This guy is losing his mind because he hates being ignored. His eyes lock right onto He Qiang. Bai Ningbing sneers, mocking He Qiang for finally finding himself a rich sugar mommy. He Qiang tenses up, making the villain laugh even more maniacally. He jeers that He Qiang acted so pure back then by refusing him. Sleeping with your sister? Disgusting. Boom! The next split second, he stares down at his bleeding chest in absolute shock. Blood starts gushing out as Liu Ruyan stands there holding a gun. Absolute boss energy. Her gorgeous eyes are filled with pure rage. You are nothing but trash. Bang! Another shot fires as she tells him the only reason he is alive is because she wanted He Qiang to watch him die a miserable death right here. His entire purpose in this world was simply to die right in front of He Qiang's eyes. Liu Ruyan steps forward, brutally grinding her heel right into Bai Ningbing's face. She looks down, calling him trash before shooting. In the end, Bai Ningbing didn't even have the chance to let out a scream. He is killed by 3 rapid shots, his eyes staring wide open in death. His eyes are filled with pure terror and disbelief as Liu Ruyan finally loses her patience. She waves her hand, telling her men to just drag everyone out. Calling them an absolute eyesore, she orders her highly trained bodyguards to sweep him out. The rest of them kneeling on the floor saw exactly what happened to Bai Ningbing. They immediately start struggling in absolute terror, tears and snot streaming down their faces. Desperately shaking their heads, they are still violently dragged out of the room. This is pure karma, and death is waiting for them. Soon, the room finally clears out.
Liu Ruyan stands by the bed, staring down at He Qiang in silence for a long time.
Only then does she whisper an apology, leaving He Qiang completely stunned in shock. She looks unusually serious as she explains. Her original plan was to handle all of them in secret, but she just couldn't accept it. She couldn't stand the thought of him being bullied for so long without seeing their end. Her eyes flash with genuine disappointment as she admits she brought them here without asking. She wanted to give him a surprise, but it looks like she just ended up scaring him instead. She apologizes, saying for a second it felt like they were right back to where they were years ago. The girl standing in front of him is looking at him with nothing but pure, fiery devotion. She literally tracked down everyone who ever bullied him, tied him up, and dragged him straight to hell. All of this just to get him revenge? If she really only saw him as a toy, why do this? Would she honestly go this far? At this point, his heart actually starts to waver. Honestly, if it wasn't for everything that went down in his past life, he would seriously believe it. Maybe Liu Ruyan actually cares about him. He just bites his lip, completely silent. Not a single word comes out. Seeing this, Liu Ruyan slowly stands up. She softly tells him that he has been through too much today and needs to get some rest.
She promises not to disturb him anymore, then turns around to leave. She quietly shuts the door behind her, leaving a faint scent of wisteria drifting through the room.
It is incredibly peaceful and soothing as he lies there. It feels exactly like the old courtyard from years ago. He lies there, completely baffled by it all. He seriously cannot read Liu Ruyan at all. Why in the world is she willing to do so much for him? Especially since in his past life, her favorability for him was 0. But guys, here comes the twist. Out of nowhere, a familiar mechanical buzzing sound suddenly starts ringing inside his head. It greets him as host, saying it has been a while. Instantly, all his sleepiness vanishes. He sits straight up in bed, demanding to know where the system has been all this time. Why was its presence completely gone? The system abruptly cuts him off with an incredibly serious tone. It warns him that Liu Ruyan is extremely dangerous. Frustrated, he runs a hand through his hair. He snaps back that he already knows she is acting weird, with her whole personality shifting. She has been completely unpredictable lately. Anyone with eyes can see that. But the system clarifies that is not what it means. Its actual warning is far more terrifying. Liu Ruyan can somehow sense the system, and she has been actively interfering with it. He completely freezes as the system explains her aura is so overpowering that it keeps the system suppressed. It can only sneak out to speak when she is gone. The system has honestly never sounded this terrified. Her interference was so strong, it tricked the system into believing they had crossed into a new world, complete with a brand new target. But that was all a lie. They never actually left. They are still trapped in their original world, and honestly, this changes everything. His eyes widen in absolute horror. This explains why Liu Ruyan was still around him. No wonder Bai Ningbing and the others showed up. It is not because they followed him to a brand new world, but because they never left. He is the one who never got out. He mutters to himself in complete disbelief. What could she possibly gain from doing all of this? The system goes quiet for a long moment.
Finally, it breaks the heavy silence with a chilling thought.
She wants him to swap destinies with He Xuanran, a life swap. His heart completely drops at this. He already knows that system users can actively steal each other's lifespans in this crazy game. The winner takes all that extra life while the loser gets obliterated on the spot. But this dark method is so forbidden that the main god banned it ages ago. Besides, Liu Ruyan is not even a system user. How could she possibly execute a life swap? Especially with someone else's life. The system urges him to think back to his past life very carefully. In his past life, her favorability for him was 0, but her rating for He Xuanran was completely maxed out. Now that He Xuanran is dead, she is going absolutely insane trying to bring him back from the grave. Since she can control the system and both of you are users, you are basically her perfect sacrifice. Trading his life for He Xuanran is the perfect exchange. Finally, the system drops the absolute hammer. She only kept him here and played nice for one reason. To harvest his life and revive He Xuanran. Talk about brutal. Turns out He Xuanran is also a transmigrator and way higher rank. While our guy was a mere extra, He Xuanran spawned as the lead. Both had the same target, Liu Ruyan. But there is a catch. If one succeeds, the other gets erased. Only one can survive. And since Liu Ruyan can hack the system, she definitely knew this. Yet she still chose He Xuanran. Twice. Last life, she wiped his progress to 0, almost erased him. This life, after He Xuanran mysteriously met with a fatal accident. She locked him up to swap their lives. It is sickening. When he first saw He Xuanran's corpse, he actually blamed her. But thinking about it now, she loved He Xuanran too much. She wouldn't touch a hair on his head. It was all fake. Turns out Liu Ruyan is not some emotionless monster. Her love was just never meant for him. It is tragic. The system actually feels bad and tries to comfort him. Look, Liu Ruyan is an S-rank target. Only pros can clear her. A total rookie. He never stood a chance. Seeing him completely unresponsive, the system sheepishly shuts up. But it cannot just let things end like this. He is its host. It won't let him get erased. He has to fight back. Our guy is completely checked out, but the system says, run. He is too stunned to process it. Run? The system nods. It figures Liu Ruyan hasn't fully mastered the life swap yet. She is only playing nice to stall. Once she does, he is dead. They need to bounce immediately. He jumps right out of bed. He asks if she is nearby. The system detects nothing. Safe for now. He lets out a huge sigh.
He makes a break for it, rushing to the door and shoving it.
But plot twist, the hallway is packed with guards. Every single one of them snaps their heads to stare him down. Sure, she is not here, but her guards are, no difference. His chest tightens. No way he's getting past them. Right on cue, a headmaid steps forward with a polite smile. She asks if he wants a tour, offering to guide him. He plays along, asking if he can take a walk outside. Her smile fades. She apologizes, saying the lady gave strict orders. He can wander anywhere inside, but stepping outside is a hard no. She is literally keeping him prisoner. Time for backup plans. Time to play dirty. He waves it off, pretending to be fine. He tells them not to follow, claiming he just wants space. He takes a few tentative steps, and thankfully, they stand down. All right, so nobody is actually following our MC. He instantly starts booking it across the soft carpet. He is running for his life, but fast forward 30 minutes, and he is still stuck inside. Bro, this house is literally a massive castle packed with insanely expensive high-end decor. There are endless rooms everywhere, leaving our guy totally lost in thought. Basically, he is completely lost. Ever since transmigrating into this world, he has been stuck with Liu Ruyan. They were living in a rundown shack, so he has never even seen a crazy luxury villa like this. Let alone finding his way out. What is he supposed to do now? Click-clack! Right then, the sharp sound of high heels echoes from right behind him. He whips around instantly, only to find Liu Ruyan standing on the stairs out of nowhere. She is staring right at him with a creepy smile, wearing nothing but a white bathrobe. She leans lazily against the handrail, making her every movement look completely effortless. Totally relaxed and harmless, but her voice is straight up terrifying as she calls out to him. "Where do you think you are going?" The girl tilts her head, looking innocent. She does not seem malicious, but our MC is absolutely panicking right now. He frantically pings his system. Why is she here when it said she was not around? But he gets absolutely zero response. This broken system is utterly useless. Seriously, why does it always crash the second Liu Ruyan shows up? Talk about terrible timing. Seeing him freeze up, Liu Ruyan slowly and calmly starts walking down the steps. "You are not trying to run away, are you?" That cold question instantly makes him break a sweat. He knows he cannot admit it, so he needs to cook up a convincing lie, fast. Liu Ruyan steps right up to him, gently lifting his chin and whispering to her brother. But before she can finish, she freezes because our MC suddenly grabs her collar. Catching her completely off guard, he pulls her in and plants a kiss. Talk about a plot twist. He has never kissed anyone, so it is super awkward. Just a quick, clumsy press before backing off. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan is completely stunned, standing frozen like a statue. She is totally broken. Our MC silently laughs to himself, loving her reaction. Since she is so obsessed with He Xuanran, he figures this sudden move will totally disgust her. With any luck, she will get completely turned off and kick him out of the house. So he doubles down, throws away all his shame, and starts spewing absolute nonsense. He tells her he was only wandering around because he was desperate to see her. That should do the trick. He quietly takes a deep breath, praying it works. Honestly, those lines were so cringe, even he felt sick, so surely she cannot handle them. He is practically begging her to kick him out, waiting for her reaction. But when Liu Ruyan slowly looks up, her usually clear, beautiful eyes have gone completely dark. There is this intense, restrained emotion in her gaze, and his heart sinks. Did he go too far? Ain't no way she is about to end him right here, but then, get this. She actually wraps her arms around his neck and pulls him into a sudden kiss. This is not like his clumsy attempt. Her kiss is intensely passionate and completely wild. The sheer heat in her eyes is overwhelming. RMC is in complete shock. What is happening? This is totally backfiring, and his face instantly flushes bright red as he panics. He instinctively tries to push her away, but she clings to him, refusing to let go. She does not back down even an inch, whispering that she wanted to see him too. She missed her dear brother so much. They lose track of how long they are kissing. When she finally pulls away just a tiny bit, our MC's mind has gone completely blank. He is utterly dazed by this sudden intimacy, and then she leans right into his ear. She whispers a soft thank you, saying even if he is lying, she is just happy. Bro, how is Liu Ruyan this sharp? It instantly snaps our main character back to reality. He immediately denies it like a nervous wreck, asking what she even means by lying. Liu Ruyan just stares at him for a long, quiet moment before finally looking away. He breathes a sigh of relief, thinking he got away with it, but right as he is celebrating, she suddenly asks if he wants to go out for a walk, and his eyes instantly light up. She smiles and adds that she will be accompanying him, but honestly, whatever. Escaping this massive villa is step one, right? Once they are outside, he can definitely find a chance to run. He quickly nods. It is pitch black outside, and sitting in her car is low-key awkward as hell. He tries to play it cool and asks where they're heading, and she just chuckles. She seems in a great mood and tells him they are going home. Wait, home? Is that crazy villa not her actual house, or does she have another one? Our guy is seriously starting to feel the financial jealousy here.
There's so many rich people in this world. Why can't he be one of them? He bitterly remarks she has way too many houses. She looks back, saying it is his home too. His brain completely short-circuits at that.
Like, what does she even mean by that?
Right then, the car stops. She gets out and opens his door with the sweetest smile.
Her voice is incredibly gentle as she tells him to step out. He is completely lost.
He cautiously steps out, but seeing the sight in front of him makes him completely freeze. This is the exact place they used to live in their past life.
A run-down, narrow alleyway that looks completely out of place with her high-class vibe now.
Yet she still grabs his hand and leads him straight into the narrow alley. As they walk, his heart starts beating like crazy.
Not because of some romance, but out of pure, unfiltered terror.
This dark alley brings back so many memories, and none of them are good. He used to get cornered and beaten by local thugs right here. Bullies chased him, and at his worst, he would just huddle up in a dark corner. He used to lie there wondering if he would die. Just thinking about it makes him shake. His palms start to sweat, and Liu Ruyan immediately notices what he is thinking. She squeezes his hand tight, whispering that it is okay now, brother. Because those people? Yeah, they are all dead now. That is a pretty wild way to comfort someone, but her warmth actually calms his panic. Even though the system literally warned him how dangerous she is, he feels something else. Deep down, he knows she has zero intention of hurting him right now.
The camera pans over, showing flickering lights.
But this light is different. It is a soft, glowing purple.
He holds his breath as they step into the ruined courtyard. The wisteria is blooming wilder than it did 7 years ago, creating a purple sea. Under the moonlight, the view is honestly breathtaking.
She closes her eyes, planting a soft kiss on his cheek and welcoming him home. For a split second, it feels like they went back 7 years in time. The young girl from his memories overlaps perfectly with the woman standing before him. His eyes tear up. They only lived in this house for 3 years. To get Liu Ruyan the best resources, our main character spent the next 4 years grinding. They ended up moving to a massive city, but eventually their paths just drifted completely apart. Our guy hadn't been back to this house in ages, fully expecting the wisteria plants to be long dead. Surprisingly, someone took amazing care of them, and Liu Ruyan gently caresses the blooming petals. He softly admits he wanted to save this surprise for later, but time ran out. Wait, what does that mean? Before he can even react, he leans in for another deep kiss, whispering that he has made his feelings obvious. Their breaths tangle together like an inescapable trap. Liu Ruyan holds him tight, whispering that he has always loved him. Our guy's heart absolutely hammers against his chest in pure shock. Brain totally offline. But right at this peak romantic moment, the system suddenly breaks back in. It screams that it finally broke free. Talking fast like a machine gun, it warns that this window is tiny. This is his only chance to catch him off guard and stab him. Do it and survive. Suddenly, a dagger spawns in his hand as a newly unlocked system weapon. The system urges him, but his hands are shaking uncontrollably. He can barely hold the grip. Looking at that familiar, stunning face, there is absolutely no way he can do this. Our guy quietly hides the blade behind his back. Overwhelmed by absolute powerlessness, our main character asks him if he always knew about the transmigration. Caught off guard by the sudden question, Liu Ruyan slowly nods. Our main character presses further with a trembling voice. Did he know He Xuanran was also a task taker and that failure meant absolute death? Clenching his fists, he demands to know why they had to swap fates. Did Liu Ruyan ever truly care after hurting him so many times? How can he believe any of this now? Liu Ruyan stares back, his eyes swimming with endless, agonizing sorrow and regret. He softly admits he knew about the other task taker and the death penalty. And yes, he really did swap their lifelines. Our guy laughs bitterly, wondering what he was even hoping for. Talk about being incredibly gullible even after 2 entire lifetimes. But wait, Liu Ruyan is not done. He looks him dead in the eye and says he got one thing completely wrong. The only reason he didn't get deleted was because Liu Ruyan traded He Xuanran's life to save him.
He Xuanran took his place in death, and Liu Ruyan never liked that guy. He never even thought about resurrecting that guy, leaving our main character completely stunned as he stumbles backward.
Hold on, this is literally the opposite of what the system claimed.
Liu Ruyan steps forward, grabbing his hand with eyes full of pure pain. Panic sets in as he begs for trust. Stunned into silence, our main character just watches him let out a soft chuckle. Then, blood splatters. Burning hot blood hits our guy's face as he stares down in complete horror. Only now does he see Liu Ruyan actually holding his hand, forcing the knife straight into his own heart. Even the system is completely stunned, its constant yapping instantly cutting off. He gently reaches out to wipe the blood off the MC's face, asking if this finally proves his love. His soft fingers linger on his cheek, caressing him with absolute devotion.
Our boy's heart literally stops as he frantically tries to cover the gushing wound. But it is completely useless. Blood just keeps spilling right through his fingers.
The sight makes him choke up while Liu Ruyan softly whispers, "Brother, I never wanted to hurt you. It was always the system and He Xuanran trying to ruin you."
He admits he is a total psycho who has killed way too many people.
But every single victim was someone who dared to bully our boy. Talk about a crazy twist. In pure panic, the MC does not even process this. He just grabs his phone. He frantically tries to call an ambulance, but right then, everything goes sideways. The system blares a massive red alert, warning that Liu Ruyan's health is rapidly dropping. The entire dimension is about to blow, and it tells the host to escape immediately. Usually, the system only talks inside his head, but this time it is so panicked that it glitches. Its voice actually echoes out loud, making Liu Ruyan smirk coldly, asking if it is scared. Too bad, because He Xuanran is already dead. And now it is your turn, system, he says, as that terrifying madness floods his eyes again. My brother can leave, but you are staying here to die with me. The system screams, calling him a total psycho as it desperately tries to run. But some crazy invisible force pins it down, while Liu Ruyan coughs up blood, completely ignoring it. Instead, he just turns to our boy with absolute tenderness, calling out to him. He asks if being a system player is miserable, always dealing with psychos like him. Or having to romance complete scum like Bai Ningbing. All while facing death at any second. Hearing this, our boy starts shaking. He gets this heavy, sinking feeling that if he does not speak now, he never will. So he finally breaks down, throwing everything to the wind as he screams out. I am so sick of this endless mission life, he confesses. I just wanted a normal life, and hearing this, Liu Ruyan smiles. But his smile falters as the MC continues. But meeting you on this journey, I do not regret it for a second. Even when things got brutal, just being by your side made me truly happy. He takes a shaky, painful breath, admitting he loves him. How could he not? 7 years of being together, this burning love is literally etched into his bones. Low-key heartbreaking. Liu Ruyan completely freezes, never expecting to hear those words. His eyes turn red and his entire body starts to shake uncontrollably. Hearing this from you, I can die with zero regrets. He gently pats our boy's head, saying even if he does not regret it, I still hurt for you, and I will not let this system manipulate you anymore. With one last tender smile, he promises to blow this entire world to pieces. I will drag your system to hell with me, so go back to your real home. Our boy's eyes go wide, tears completely blinding him as he panics. He begs him to come along, but suddenly his entire body goes completely limp. All his strength is drained away in an instant as reality finally hits him. The sweet scent of wisteria in the air is exactly like the knockout drug Liu Ruyan used on him before. It is a perfect match. Liu Ruyan's face is deathly pale, but she still forces a weak smile. Did you only notice just now, brother? You need to be more careful. What if you run into bad guys? Our MC tries to touch her. Unfortunately, his strength is completely gone. Just before his consciousness fades out, he sees Liu Ruyan smiling. Sleep well. There is a big surprise waiting when you wake up.
In that moment, her eyes are overflowing with pure, passionate love. Looking exactly like the sweet girl from 7 years ago as she whispers, "Sweet dreams, brother." Now here is where the plot twist gets crazy. Liu Ruyan absolutely hates these transmigrators and their annoying system robots.
Destroying her already chaotic life. Honestly, she has no idea what the first transmigrator even looked like.
But she still vividly remembers that day. The transmigrator strutted up to her, acting incredibly smug, like they were doing her a massive favor. They literally told her, "Liu Ruyan, your life is an absolute train wreck, but I am going to save you." She found it hilarious. Her childhood environment was not just some simple mess, it was a total living hell, with her father abandoning them right after she was conceived. Leaving her mother entirely alone, crying herself to sleep every single night. Overwhelmed by a complete mental breakdown, she took out all of her pain, beating her mercilessly day after day. Until she finally got drunk and died in a car crash. A life like that would drive anyone completely insane. How could a transmigrator understand? And predictably, after acting nice to her for just a few days, that first transmigrator got targeted. They got bullied by local thugs and completely isolated by the rest of the class. Within a week, they transferred. On the outside, they still pretended to be nice to Liu Ruyan. But in their head, they were absolutely screaming at their system, calling her a cursed jinx and screaming about how her parents got dragged down by her. They literally said they would die if they stayed. But little did they know, Liu Ruyan, she could hear everything. It was just a game to her. I mean, you chose to play the savior, so why break down so easily? By the time the system announced that the mission time limit was finally up, their progress was still at 0%. The transmigrator burst into tears. Liu Ruyan, do you even have a heart? I did so much for you. Why do you hate me? But what even is love? She had no idea. Their soul got violently ripped out until they stopped breathing. She actually found it pretty entertaining. She really has no heart. Then the world reset. A new transmigrator showed up, proudly slamming a love letter on her desk, declaring himself her boyfriend. But whenever a new challenger arrived, she would just light a cigarette in sheer annoyance because this was already her 20th run. It was amusing at first, but now it was just incredibly exhausting. These fools kept acting like total clowns, desperately trying to impress her at all costs, only to get eliminated and force her to restart the entire loop. Trapped in this endless, toxic cycle of violence and restarts, she could feel her own sanity slipping, pushing her target difficulty all the way up to S rank. With 0% success recorded, nobody could crack her, causing another reset. Liu Ruyan is gritting her teeth, planning how the next system quester is going to end up. She wants to record their death seremes and play it on repeat. But just then, a hesitant voice interrupts her with a simple, "Hello? My name is He Qiang." Liu Ruyan instantly drops her psychotic vibe and puts on her best victim act, calling him Big Brother. "I have no family left, so can you please stay with me forever?" This classic line usually works like a charm, and sure enough, He Qiang completely falls for it. He gently pats her head and agrees, but little did Liu Ruyan know back then that He Qiang would actually take that promise seriously, risking his life to stay by her side for 7 whole years. Honestly, this guy is built different. After getting bullied for the first time, he just secretly treats his wounds alone. His system immediately hypes him up, telling him to stop treating the wounds and go show Liu Ruyan right now. She is going to feel so bad for you. But standing at the door, Liu Ruyan just scoffs. Why would she ever care about He Qiang? These system questers are literally like wholesale items to her. No point in valuing them, right? But He Qiang is just clueless, asking why he should make her feel bad. The system sighs in frustration. Are you stupid? Women love guys who get hurt protecting them. When her heart aches for you, that is when the romance actually starts. But He Qiang shakes his head. If you like someone, should you not want them to be happy? Why would I want her to feel hurt and worried? I really do not get it. The system asks if he actually fell for her, and He Qiang naturally fires back. Of course I love her. So straightforward. This is where the story gets so good, because inside Liu Ruyan's heart, An unknown feeling begins to stir. Is this what love actually means? A direct confession, always choosing the other person's happiness without a single doubt. She shakes her head in slight frustration and walks away. Honestly, she still does not get it. Later on, He Qiang gets beaten half to death by Bai Ningbing.
He is barely holding on, curled up in an alley corner covered in brutal wounds. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan is standing in the shadows close by, watching coldly.
She should not care about him, but for some reason, all she wants to do right now is delete Bai Ningbing. Just then, his system says with pity, "Host, this is way too brutal. Why don't we just give up on this quest and target someone else? You have worked so hard, but our affection rating is still a flat 0. Liu Ruyan clenches her fists, but He Qiang suddenly speaks up. Absolutely not. If even a background character like me gets bullied this badly, then how much worse must it be for Liu Ruyan? No responsible adult would just abandon a little girl and run away. I promised to stay with her, and that means protecting her for a lifetime.
At that exact moment, Liu Ruyan feels her own heart skip a beat.
It seems that from that day on, she finally begins to truly see He Qiang.
His actions, his words,
Every single emotion he feels starts engraving itself deep into her mind. Even her affection meter starts climbing steadily, almost hitting the maximum limit. But whenever she catches herself falling too hard, she instantly forces herself to wake up. Absolutely not. I cannot lose control, she tells herself. He is a quester. If his meter hits 100, he will leave this world forever, and she cannot let that happen. Liu Ruyan has to manually force her feelings down multiple times just to drop the rating a bit. Lately, she has been living in absolute torment. She is thrilled that He Qiang loves her, but completely miserable having to constantly suppress her own feelings.
enter He Xuanran.
At first, Liu Ruyan didn't pay him any mind, until one day. She overhears him arguing with his system inside the equipment room. He is throwing a tantrum, yelling about why Liu Ruyan was supposed to be hard.
He Qiang's progress is nearly full. Hearing that name?
Liu Ruyan stops dead in her tracks to peek. He Xuanran is red with rage. The other guy's finishing the quest. What about me?
Stand here and wait to get wiped out? The system panics, apologizing to its young master.
It assumed He Qiang failed since his progress has been stalled for so long. This makes Liu Ruyan uneasy. A guy who makes his system bow down and takes on hard missions. His identity is insane, but right then, the system tries to placate him, saying they still have one last option. They can swap lives. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan's heart skips a beat. That sounds dangerous. He Xuanran finally relaxes. He admits it has been a while, so he will target Liu Ruyan first. Otherwise, he steals He Qiang's life. He flings the door open, completely oblivious, and runs straight into Liu Ruyan. He Xuanran instantly panics, thinking he is busted. But Liu Ruyan is unbothered. Instead, she gives him a sweet smile, asking if she heard him. Gorgeous face, soft voice, a total cheat code. Nobody could resist this, even an experienced player like him. He ends up blushing like crazy. But while she keeps smiling, her eyes are secretly ice cold. She starts planning accidental run-ins. Soon, she learns the life swap secret, but there is a huge catch. The catch? It only works between the living and the dead. If He Xuanran fails and gets wiped out, his system will sacrifice He Qiang as a substitute. This toxic backup plan is exactly why He Xuanran has a perfect record. Other players tried to compete fairly. They never expected such a dirty trick. Honestly, they never stood a chance. Talk about a brutal plot twist. Liu Ruyan's gaze turns dark because now she can flip the script. If she lets He Qiang fail his mission, she can swap He Xuanran's life to resurrect He Qiang. This would kill He Xuanran permanently to protect the guy she cares about. She suddenly pushes He Qiang away. Then she starts chasing He Xuanran instead, and this guy is loving it. He thinks his charm won her over. So he forgets about the life swap, but she is plotting it every single second. When she looks at him, there is not a single drop of affection. Only cold, dark plotting. His progress bar keeps going up. She just laughs to herself. Love is honestly the most unpredictable, messed up thing in the world.
All that love, hate, and regret. Honestly, human emotions are way too complex for some dumb system to ever measure. That is why the system only judges favorability based on outward behavior. Just a few fake sweet words are enough to make that favorability score skyrocket. It is honestly so stupid, but even knowing that fact, when He Qiang rushes over, Liu Ruyan stares at his score. It is still under 60. Her heart aches like crazy while facing his totally confused questioning. She cannot say a single word and has to force down her intense feelings. Pretending to be cold, she chases him away, leaving He Qiang in absolute pain. Liu Ruyan clenches her fists so hard her nails dig straight into her flesh.
Blood drips down as she begs him in her mind to wait and not lose hope.
She promises she will show her love soon. Then, He Qiang's final deadline day arrives.
She is stuck accompanying He Xuanran at a press conference when suddenly, her phone starts vibrating. It is a call from He Qiang. Her eyes instantly turn red. She knows her brother failed the mission. He is about to be obliterated by his system, and yet, she still cannot tell him how she truly feels right at that exact second. A reporter suddenly asks her how she managed to achieve all the success. Who does she want to thank the most? Liu Ruyan's heart skips a beat. Taking a deep breath to stop her trembling, she says she owes it all. She credits the constant companionship of Mr. He, hiding her secret love inside her words. She hopes He Qiang is watching the broadcast and can hear her.
She adds with genuine, raw emotion that he is her absolute everything.
The crowd goes absolutely wild, totally shipping the two of them. Even He Xuanran blushes, but then his system drops a massive bombshell. He Qiang failed his mission and is officially eliminated, meaning they are completely safe. He Xuanran sighs in relief. Finally, nobody is left to steal his girl. But his smug smile instantly vanishes. Talk about a plot twist. His soul is suddenly ripped straight out of his body in pure agony. He collapses onto the floor, screaming in his head about what is happening. His system stays silent for a long time before finally speaking up. In absolute terror, it stammers out that their lives have been swapped. Delirious with pain, he still cannot believe this is actually happening. Who would dare to do this? Liu Ruyan just smirks at him. Whispering in a camera blind spot, she tells him to go to hell with his system.
He Xuanran freezes in pure shock and slowly looks up at her.
Before he can even struggle to speak, she disgustedly covers his mouth. She literally tells him to hurry up and die because she is in a rush. Absolute savage behavior. She has to run and see her brother. He Xuanran suffocates in agony. He dies with his eyes wide open, and the whole thing takes under a minute.
Amidst the absolute chaos, Liu Ruyan fakes panic and rushes out.
She yells that Mr. He has a heart attack and she is finding a doctor. Once she is out of sight, she sprints toward He Qiang's location. Her heart is racing as she finally gets to confess her hidden feelings. She has waited years for this and cannot wait to see him again. But then she learns He Qiang's new system target is a girl named Bai. He freezes up seeing the screen. Bai Ningbing was literally his worst bully back in the day. This trash system is definitely up to no good. Just wait until He Qiang realizes who his new target is. He is going to absolutely lose his mind. At this point, Liu Ruyan has officially had enough of this terrible world, thinking to himself in despair. Why does He Qiang have to be puppeted by this stupid system for his entire life? Why is he forced to seduce all kinds of random people against his will? He has zero freedom and always has to live with a constant threat hanging over his head. The threat of literal deletion. Honestly, rather than letting He Qiang suffer like this forever, Liu Ruyan decides it is better to blow this entire world to pieces along with the trash system, ending this endless cycle of reincarnation and his own spiraling, twisted mind all at once. To reduce everything to ashes, and no shot, he actually goes ahead and does exactly that. After hunting down and ruthlessly taking out every single person who ever hurt his beloved He Qiang, Liu Ruyan uses his own blood-soaked hands to gift He Qiang a completely fresh start at life. He plunges a sharp blade straight into his own chest, staring at He Qiang's panicked, tearful face. Liu Ruyan gently wipes away his tears, reminding him not to cry because he remembers He Qiang's words.
Loving someone means making them happy, not making them worry or feel pain for you. So he slipped a harmless sleeping agent into the wisteria flowers nearby,
letting He Qiang drift off into a peaceful sleep before forcefully locking down the system.
He forces his bleeding, broken body to activate the portal, sending He Qiang to a safe new world. With his final task complete, a peaceful smile appears on his face as he finally collapses. The last things he hears are the roaring explosions and the system screaming in absolute terror. Liu Ruyan smiles, since he could never marry him in this lifetime. He will use this glorious death as his ultimate dowry for them in the next life. When He Qiang finally opens his eyes, his mind is still completely hazy. He feels like he had an incredibly long dream, brought on by some wild distortion in space-time.
In that dream, he witnessed all of Liu Ruyan's memories, even though they were fragmented and chaotic.
But every single piece was screaming one thing, pure, unadulterated love, from his initial fiery passion to his silent, painful sacrifices later on. It turns out Liu Ruyan never changed. He had been deeply in love with He Qiang from start to finish, and even at the very end. He was willing to trade his own life just to buy his freedom. Man, this is low-key heartbreaking. Suddenly, his mother's ecstatic voice echoes through the room.
She grasps He Qiang's hand, sobbing with pure joy because her boy is finally awake.
He had been in a coma for almost 1 year, absolutely terrifying her. Looking at her familiar face, he remembers he was raised in a single-parent household.
His mother raised him all on her own, though they were poor.
They were genuinely happy together, until that fateful day, when a mysterious system suddenly popped up, claiming it had forcefully bound itself to his soul. He was forced to complete endless, dangerous missions, or face instant death. So he traveled through countless dimensions as a host, forced to seduce targets to survive, drifting like a lost leaf until this very moment where he finally found his way back. Looking at his mother standing right in front of him, he finally breaks down sobbing.
He hugs her tightly, cherishing this hard-won reunion that felt almost impossible to reach.
Maybe this was the surprise Liu Ruyan promised him when he finally opened his eyes. His body checks out completely fine, and he's discharged from the hospital soon after. It is autumn now, and wisteria petals dance gently in the crisp, cool breeze. Drifting down, they look gorgeous.
He asks his mom when they got so many wisteria flowers.
She thinks for a second, apparently just last week. Some rich lady moved in and had them transplanted here.
She planted tons of them, wishing she was that rich.
Apparently she did it for her husband. So romantic. Our boy teases her, "Mom, you are not a kid. Why do you still believe in stories like that?" But honestly, seeing her unchanged youthful heart is the best.
She pouts and lightly taps his head. "Stop complaining," she says. "The doctor said you need fresh air.
Go walk around for a bit while I cook dinner."
He nods, but the second she walks away, his smile completely fades. He cannot stop thinking about Liu Ruyan. Getting here today was only possible because of Mr. He. He walks quietly on the fallen petals.
These delicate wisterias were clearly grown with extreme care. You can tell that wealthy resident really loved her husband.
It low-key reminds him of a girl from years ago.
She promised to fill his yard with wisterias, but she never made it. His chest tightens, tears blur his vision. He was just a regular player, yet she literally died for him. The supposedly impossible S-rank target? Why was she so foolish? Why throw away everything just for love? But then, a delicate hand reaches out.
It gently wipes away his tears, asking why he's crying.
Aren't the wisterias beautiful?
Sweet, familiar. His heart skips a beat. He turns around in absolute shock, and there she is.
Liu Ruyan stands there, smiling warmly. "Long time no see, brother."
The blooming wisterias feel like a sign, proving her love was always real. What an insane emotional payoff!